Welcome to the Sports Bros Podcast, featuring the Almighty B-Live, the Money Man, Scottie D, and your host, the head of creative, Eddy Kool. And without any further ado, here they are, the Sports Bros. Happy New Year and welcome to the first episode of 2020. That's right, it's me, the head of creative, Eddy Kool, along with my co-host, and this is another action-packed episode of the Sports Bros Podcast. To our listeners, I miss you. Well, y'all, I'm talking to you, baby. I miss you.
Whoa.
What?
Wait a minute. Hold on. I mean, I want to say this real quick. I apologize to our listeners. See, our HOC, head of creative, he won a karaoke contest quite a few years back at the world famous Overtime Sports Bar.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's so hard. But see, I don't know if that's the best way to start off 2020 with him serenading y'all. Because, that's why we have day jobs. Like, I don't know, singing is, I don't know if that was it. So, see, what happened was, are we going to stick to what we know is sports? Over here reminiscing about karaoke and everything. He over here singing to
Those
you.
some great times.
Nah, I'm messing with you. Eddy Kool, sing to the people. Sing to your heart's content. Hey, y'all be the judge. Me, I give that song 2 thumbs down. Oh, sorry, my bad. Boo.
Ladies and gentlemen, Simon Cowell is the newest member of the Sports Bros Podcast. No, the voice that you hear is the one, the only, the almighty B-Live.
Oh, man. 2020. Thank you, Barbara Walters. I appreciate that. Welcome into this new wonderful year. All the things that come with it. Oh, sports. Got 7 days. The hair is standing up on my arm because I'm so excited. For those that are listeners to the podcast, y'all know why the hair is standing up. We're going to talk about it a little bit later. I'm gonna be patient. Whew.
You're just excited. Yeah, and trust me, you have every right to be excited.
Yes,
and as always, the gift that keeps on giving, the Money Man, Scottie D.
Well, bros, as Daniel Snyder would say, Happy Thanksgiving.
Jesus Christ. Oh,
It
Lord.
is good to be back with you guys here. Happy New Year, fellas. 2020 is off to a roaring start here. Already a lot to talk about. So let's go ahead and get on into it. And welcome back, listeners. I missed sharing with you the last couple weeks, but here we go. We are ready to rock 2020 in a big way here. So let's get to it, Eddy Kool.
Hey, that's it. We're going to leave everything 2019 and 2019, of course, and dive right into 2020, which means playoffs. Playoffs? Yeah. The playoffs, the NFL playoffs. In particular, this week's action in the NFL Wild Card Weekend. Wild and crazy playoff games. All right, so let's see. Over there in the AFC, we got the Texans and the Bills. The Texans, they went out in overtime against the Bills, who, they came and showed up and they played a pretty tough game, but still couldn't win. And then we have the Seahawks defeating the Eagles 17-9 in Philadelphia. And then the biggest upset of the weekend, the Titans, tighten up, defeats New England Patriots 20-13. Yes, in Foxborough, they did it. Fall and all, they did it. And of course, the real game of the week, the Vikings versus the Saints. And the Vikings, they win one in overtime versus the Saints with a score of 26-20. There's a lot to take away from this weekend's games, fellas. Don't you agree?
Man, absolutely. When I tell you this is playoff football at its finest. Every single game was close down to the wire. 2 overtime games.
2 of them.
2 of them in the wild card weekend. I don't think that's ever happened before. I might have to research that because that's insane. Just the fact, my near and dear to my heart, I posted on Facebook because the Texans came back from a 16-0 deficit, led by Deshaun Watson and DeAndre Hopkins from what university?
We.
Who is we? All roads lead to Dabo. The reigning, defending, undisputed national champion, Clemson Tigers, which also came back from a 16-0 deficit last Saturday against the Ohio. Yep. Man, I just wow. And that one play that Deshaun Watson had, oh my goodness, he was dead to rights. How did he escape? And then ended up getting that pass off, and that literally changed the game. Literally changed the game. If they get that sack right there, Houston loses. Period, point blank. So I'm just like, that was an amazing start. Then the Patriots lost. Then the Saints lost.
Ooh.
Then the Eagles lost.
Ooh.
This guy right here is happy.
It's a good week.
It's a good freaking week.
Quite a weekend. I actually I went on Facebook and picked did my picks for wild card games, and I was 1-3. It was that wild where it was and I like it that it's that unpredictable. The game I felt most confident about picking, to be honest with you, was the Patriots. I really thought having a home game in Foxborough in January with Brady Belichick still together, hosting Ryan Tannehill, who was 0-6 going to New England. I just didn't think that the Titans were going to be ready to win on the road. But they stuck to their game plan, man. The Patriots had no answer for Derrick Henry. And he ran. He looked to me like a huge guy on the field. Didn't he just look big on the field the other night to you guys? I mean, to me, he just seemed like he was on a different level from everyone out there. He was the man out there. He was doing grown man stuff the other night. And they rode him to victory. And in a key situation, Ryan Tannehill comes up with a huge first down play. And they showed a lot of poise to the point that I don't think they'll beat Baltimore, but it wouldn't shock me if they went up there. I mean, the most daunting task this time of year for any team over the last several years is to go to Foxborough and win. Mm-hmm. They already checked that box. So at this point, Tennessee's playing with house money, man. They got no pressure on them. So that was a pretty big story to see that and possibly end the dynasty. Now, I guess we'll talk about that later. I don't really think that's completely the end of the New England scene. I think we'll talk a little bit more about that. But another ironic thing I thought was how last year the Saints had the pass interference call that everyone said kept them from going to the Super Bowl. So the NFL made a rule for them. They made a rule. Pass interference can be reviewed now. And last week, when they had a chance to claim home field advantage, a pass interference call in the end zone between Seattle and San Francisco did not get called. And it basically meant the Saints had to play this week. And then on the final play of their game in overtime, another pass interference does not get called in the end zone, and they lose. So 2 times that rule that was basically created because of their play worked against them and eliminates them. What did you guys think? Did you think that's a missed call? I mean, I felt like the league in both situations should have taken a little time to review it more, give it a little bit more attention. And in both cases, it seemingly, didn't get much review time.
Well, I'm gonna say this about that passer, the pass interference call yesterday. It's the playoffs. The reason why that rule was put into play was because what happened last year was so egregious. That was horrible that they missed that. But the league made a point this year. If you've been watching majority of the year when coaches challenged those pass interference calls, it had to be blatant. it had to be like over the top. It wasn't. It wasn't no tick or tack. Like they were not calling tick or tack, freaking pass interference call when they reviewed them. They was like, nope, that's part of the game, et cetera, et cetera. They weren't calling it, so there was such a low success rate. And then that play that happened yesterday, yeah, that's in the end zone. That's playoff ball. Let them boys play. They got that call right. I honestly think
but that's the whole point.
Yeah.
It's playoffs. It's more important. And they did not get the call right, because if you read the rule, it says if a receiver creates separation by extending the arm and pushing off, he clearly did that. He definitely did that. And the referee was standing right there behind it and let it go. If he would have thrown that flag, they surely wouldn't have reversed that call, because it would have been correct. So I think I have a problem with the fact that they didn't even take the time. How many times have we watched a replay and sat there and said, make a decision already? We've seen it 10 times. We know what the call is. And you just sit there. That didn't happen in either of these cases, not the one with Seattle, San Francisco, and it didn't happen here on Sunday. And that's why you make the rule, to get it right. And he didn't get it right. I mean, I know I understand your point is it's playoffs, let the players decide it on the field, but he clearly violated the rule by pushing off. And I had no dog in that fight. I don't really care. I didn't have money on the game. I'm not a fan of either team. But I just think that when you make it a point to say, hey, we need to do better in this situation, here's what we're going to do about it, and then you don't do it, what's the point of having the rule?
Yeah, you excuse me. Yes, guy, you make an interesting point. Hashtag do better.
Yeah.
We gonna fix this situation, and then almost 1 year later, on the other, we got a whole push off of Kevin Rudolph's arm to defensive back. Hey, push off, step back, both of you didn't catch the ball. It's a touchdown. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. In the playoffs these past few years, man, the Saints have the world's worst luck. They have the world's worst luck. They got to. I thought the Bills had bad luck. I don't know, man. I'm starting to think the Saints got some of the world's worst luck.
Well, I'll say this. Ever since Bounty Gate, it's almost to a point of till you do right by me. So it's just, I don't know. That's neither here nor there.
You know what? Okay. So I never looked at it like that, but go ahead.
But yeah, I look at certain things in a different light or whatever. Scottie D, I agree with you to a sense. Like they put the rule in play, but it's one of those things they didn't call it on the field, and then when they all plays reviewable, et cetera, blah blah blah. That wasn't as egregious as the like. I think that's a football play. Like it's not necessarily where he pushed off. That's just sort of tussling, like because if I'm not mistaken, aren't you allowed that fight off the ball within 5 yards?
But this is the back of the end zone, and I think that's at the line of scrimmage. Is the fight off the line of scrimmage
where you can jam him up and
he's already passed him, and he clearly extends the arm off of the guy's chest and creates separation. That's past hand fighting at that point, if you ask me. Yeah, I don't know. I thought they were very dismissive of the call. I mean, they said that they didn't see enough, but like I said, there have been times that we've watched one replay over and over and over again from this angle and that angle, and
like we could see it from home.
We're sitting here watching it, but I mean, if that's not pass interference, if that's not offensive pass interference, then
what is?
In what situation do you get that call? Because to me, that looked. I mean, when it happened in real time from the angle, it didn't look like it. I said, "Oh, game over. That's a great play." But when you see it from the other side, the side that the back judge was watching it from, he clearly pushes off. He clearly extends it, and the player, the defender, was asking for it immediately. I saw fans in the stands all making the signal immediately. Obviously, they're hometown fans, but I think that's the call. I think he pushed off. I really do.
So I want to make a point about a different game because, like I said, that's always going to be up in the air. And like I said, that was very pivotal. I want to say this because I want to give more props and respect to Tennessee Titans real quick. Because do you realize that the Tennessee Titans won a playoff football game in Foxborough with 76 yards passing?
What?
That's crazy. They
70
rode Derrick Henry. He was the guy.
Derrick Henry had 204 all-purpose yards, 182 yards rushing, and 22 yards receiving. Derrick Henry had 22 of those 76 yards receiving.
Wow.
That's insane.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
crazy. That right there,
What the hell?
Derrick Henry is a different beast of a man. Are you kidding me? God. Yeah, that's a grown man.
That is your 2019 rushing champion.
That's a grown man. Against the New England defense, that's a grown man.
Yeah. Who's up until that point, who's been keeping the Patriots in games.
Yeah.
Because, just like I stated, how the hell you let AB go, I understand, then let go of Josh Gordon, and then you stuck with who? Philip Dorsett, Rex Burkhead, and James White, and no Gronk. I mean,
and Edelman.
And Edelman.
Edelman, no hands. He looking like Nelson Aguilar out there dropping stuff.
And Aguilar.
He usually sure-handed, but he's out there dropping. I'm like, wait a minute, what is going on?
Yeah, and this is what I was kind of alluding to a little bit ago when I was saying I didn't necessarily think this was the complete end of the road for the Patriots, but I do think it's the end of their championship window. But I think they're going to take another run of it when the dust all settles here. I kind of feel like the Patriots are going to look at what happened and in the offseason try to get some more weapons for Brady and take one more run at it next year. That's kind of the feeling that I get, just because Brady was sitting back in the pocket and his receivers weren't getting any separation at all. And maybe they should have pushed off because they don't review that, but he should have made if they can get another home run hitter to open the field up for him and get a little of the attention off of Edelman, because you take him away and there's not much room on the field for Brady that he just didn't have anybody to get the ball to, and I think that it might be the route the Patriots go. I don't think that Robert Kraft is going to quite be ready to say goodbye yet to Brady, because I mean you look at the Patriots and you feel, man, they had a bad season, but they were 12-4.
Yeah.
It's not like they were complete scrubs. They had, they stumbled down the stretch and came back to earth when the schedule got a little bit tougher. But I feel like Brady's got a little bit more football left in him. I think the Patriots will try to take one more run at it. I don't think it's completely the end of the Patriots, but I think the Patriots dynasty has come to an end.
Interesting take.
Well, I'm gonna say this: Tom Brady goes wherever Josh McDaniels goes. I think this is his last game as a Patriot.
So he's going to be the quarterback of the Cowboys next year.
Lord!
We haven't got there yet, sir.
You just took me there.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Well, hold on. Let me bring it back. Oh, Billy, I finished what you about to say.
Oh, I know. I was done. I'm good.
Okay. Yeah. So how about this? You know what, Billy? I was at work last night, and I was watching bits and pieces of the Seahawks and the Eagles game. And then I got a little bloop bloop on my phone that says Carson Wentz will miss the rest of the game with a concussion. This leads me back to what you said about Carson Wentz.
I don't even know what to tell you at this point. That is, I'm gonna say this. I'll say first thing, that might have been roughing the passer, because I felt
Possibly.
like Jadeveon Clowney did lead with the crown of the helmet back into the head area. It's a possibility.
Plus, he played for South Carolina.
Yeah. That means he's a little grimy, but
tough, son. It's tough. You got to do what you got to do to get them dubs, son.
But yeah, Carson Wentz. Is the jury still out for him? Because this is now the third year in a row that he goes out with an injury and is unable to lead his team in the playoffs.
That was actually his first playoff game.
Right.
Yep, his first playoff game. Yep.
And he couldn't even complete that.
Mm.
But then again, I will say this. I'm gonna say this, and I apologize, Scottie D, but it has to be said. The NFC East didn't deserve to have a playoff team at all.
No argument.
They did, because it took the Eagles winning their last 4 games to get to 9-7.
And those last 4 games were against 2 with the Giants, 1 with the drain circling Cowboys, and I think they played the Redskins twice down the stretch. In their last 5 games, they had all NFC East games. So yeah.
So the Eagles were decimated already to start with. They were without Alshon Jeffrey. Like, it was just they had no wide.
Deshaun Jackson. Yeah, they were crushed. So they were definitely beat up.
So I'll give them their just due, but dang, that hurts. It does hurt. I'm not gonna beat up on them too bad. I am, because I'm still upset because JR got his money. he calling me and texting me. He worse than a bill collector. Man, calling me asking me when do you work? Can I stop by? Man, look, you know what? No, let me say this. Hey, you Negro.
Oh boy!
Oh wow!
I told you I was gonna have your money. I gave you your money. I'm a man of my word. Don't be calling me and bugging me, and you know I work all the time. I'm like, JR has called me more in the past week than he's called me in the past year.
Oh boy!
Boy, if you call me one more time about this money, boy, I swear to God, I'll come across your face with the 5. With the 5 fingers straight to the face.
Slap!
Man. But I got to do it just because I have this platform. And oh, man. But yeah, I lost the bet. I lost a lot of things this year. I lost the bet. I got to get a tattoo. Just wrong. So right now, you know what? I want you to get the train back on the tracks.
I'm about to do that. I had to let you. I'm gonna let him get it out. I'm gonna let him get it out. We did this in 2 weeks, so I gotta.
Right.
Yeah. Oh man. So so that's it for the. Well, not actually it for the NFL playoffs. Next week is the divisional round. Correct, fellas? Correct,
yes, sir.
Yes, the divisional rounds, and the matchup goes as follows. We got the Vikings and the 49ers. Ooh. That's going to be a good one. Titans versus Ravens, another good one. Then we got the Texans going to Kansas City and the Seahawks going to Green Bay. We got the predictions, fellas?
Man, I could tell you right now, Minnesota versus San Francisco, that's going to be a low-scoring game. That's going to be a battle in the trenches. Like, Dalvin Cook versus that San Fran D, Jimmy G Mostert against that Minnesota D. I think the 49ers edge it out. I think it's going to be a field goal type of game. Ain't going to be too much flash in the pan with that one. As far as it said what we got
the next one is the Titan or the NFC, the Seahawks and Green Bay.
Seahawks, Green Bay, man. So let me make sure I got this correct. The Seahawks, they have to travel to Green Bay, the frozen tundra.
You got to go in the cold.
Ooh. Man, that I don't know. That I just think Russell Wilson finds a way to win. I don't know. I think there's going to be a shocker in Green Bay. He just finds a way. That oh boy, that dude right there is something special. So I will pick the Seahawks. I'm gonna pick the Seahawks by a field goal with that one. As far as the Titans, we have Titans versus
Ravens.
Ravens gonna beat them by 28.
Ooh.
I'm gonna tell you right now. First of all, they will not be able to get away with only throwing for 76 yards. They won't be able to get away with that. I think the Ravens are just they're much faster, and their defense is nothing to shake. I mean, it's like it's going to come to the point where they're going to have to throw the ball because the Ravens going to be up 14-0. It's going to be quick, and then I mean, I just don't see it happening. And then when it comes to the Chiefs against the Texans, I picked the Chiefs by 2 touchdowns, and that's going to be a high-scoring affair. As much as I love Deshaun Watson and everything, I think Kansas City comes in there and just airs it out. Because I think the weakest part of the Texans is their secondary.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Kansas City is going to exploit the mess out of that. So that's my bold predictions as to what's going to happen next week.
Scottie D, what you got?
Yeah, history shows that a lot of times we get enamored with these teams after wild card weekend, and then the majority of the time they get eliminated. The reason these teams have a bye week is because they've earned it and they're the best teams for that particular season. And I think that's going to happen here. I think Green Bay is going to end up winning that game at home. I think Aaron Rodgers having the extra week off is going to be big. These guys get beat up over the late part of the season. This extra week off is a big deal. Mm-hmm. So I do think the Packers are going to hold on and win that. I do think San Francisco is strong enough to beat Minnesota. I like the Chiefs actually to hold the trophy. I think the Chiefs are going to be the team that's going to win the whole Super Bowl this year, to be honest with you. So I do think they're going to win. And I agree. I think that Baltimore is going to have to force Tannehill to beat them, and I don't think he gets that done there. I think Baltimore is going to jump Tennessee in that game as well. So we'll see. If you would have taken all my picks this past weekend and gone against me, you'd be rich today because I had a bad weekend calling games here in the wild card weekend. But that's my feeling going into the divisional round.
Let's see. For the HOC over here, I think let me see. I'm gonna have to go with the home teams on this one, man. The home teams, they got that home field advantage, man. Well, I don't know, man. Seattle is always dangerous to me. They're just you just know. Like you said, be like Russell Wilson always finds a way to eke out a W. Let me see. So okay. So I'm gonna roll with Seahawks on that one. And the rest of the yeah.
You guys both picking against Aaron Rodgers, huh?
Yes, we are.
Yeah, man. Okay. I'm gonna have to do that, man, because down the stretch, man, Seattle. You hear that sound? That Seattle went to clicking, and now we starting to see it. Kansas City, I think they'll win that one too. As B-Live said, the Texans' only issue on defense is that doggone secondary. And Patrick Mahomes, what knee injury, what ankle injury? Watch this. He got weapons, man. He got weapons. And so he'll use every weapons till he drip, drop, dry. Can't do it no more. The Ravens, they're going to get it to the Titans. And, yeah, that's that. That's what I got for my prediction. So let's see. Seahawks, Chiefs, Ravens, and the 49ers.
Yep. So it's just really that Green Bay Seattle games, and we all disagree on, I think, at this point.
Yeah, that's what we disagree on, man. Because the Birds look tough, man. Them Seahawks look tough, and it's just. But like you said, man, that extra week off, helps, and so you know what? We'll see.
And keep in mind, Seattle won. They beat the Eagles by a score of 17-9 on the road against a team who lost their starting quarterback and didn't have a whole lot of firepower. So that's why I'm not completely enamored with Seattle at this point.
Understandable.
The thing about it is that's sort of the reason why I've never been quite sold on the Packers this year. That just seems like a team that really hasn't quite impressed me. Like, I mean, the passing game is not like it's not been where it's been at. Like, because I look at the Packers almost the same way as I look at the Patriots. Like, outside of Devontae Adams, like, who exactly is catching this ball? I mean, I have to give up to Aaron Jones. Like, Aaron Jones led the league in touchdowns. I believe him and Christian McCaffrey were tied with rushing touchdowns. So, I mean, I give him that, and I think that more or less has been get him over the hump in games and stuff like that. I'm curious to see if that rushing attack continues to do what it do. especially against a hungry Seattle team. I don't know.
All right, B-Live. Yep. Since you did mention the Green Bay Packers wide receiver, I took some time. Wide receivers. I took some time to do some research. There's Devontae Adams, Geronimo Allison, Jake Kumaro, Alan Lazard, who had some flashes of brilliance this year. Marquez Valdez Scantling and Ryan Grant.
And a partridge in a pear tree. All right, yeah. How many names? How many names do you recognize on that? Valdez Scantling, hit or miss.
Yep.
Lazard, hit or miss.
Yep.
Devontae Adams is pretty much he's your go-to. But I mean,
did you say Donald Driver?
Nobody said Donald Driver. What is this?
Greg Jennings.
Yeah, like.
Did you say Greg Jennings? Did you say James Lofton?
Jesus, who is this guy? The resident historian here. Back in my day, you know.
Did you say Mark Chmura?
Oh God, I forgot about him. Oh, Don Beebe, him too.
Yeah. See, they're loaded. B-Live. I don't know what you're talking about. They're loaded.
Wow,
weapons everywhere.
Oh man, this is. I'm just glad to be back on the air. I just love it. All right, now going to the other half of this whole NFL kerfluffle here. Black Monday, and then one of the longest firings in the history of the world happened. Scottie D, tell us how it happened and who it happened to.
Wow, I felt like I was like a pig on a spit being turned around, just roasted all week. It was like a slow burn trying to get to the end of this story here. Wow, you know, I know Jerry Jones absolutely loves Jason Garrett as a person. I know they have like this personal relationship. And that's what makes it so weird for me is because Jerry Jones, I don't think is a great general manager when it comes to football, but he's a brilliant businessman. And most businessmen will tell you, you don't let personal feelings get in the way of business. And that's what's going on here, man. Now, I know Jason Garrett's contract was technically not up until this Wednesday, and they were trying to show him respect and, you know, treat him with, you know, soft gloves pretty much. But Jason just kept, from what the reports are, he just kept trying to plead his case and stick around. It was reported that the Cowboys parted way with him officially on Sunday, but didn't we all get that report from Ed Werder on Thursday? I mean, it was such a weird week when it came to this whole thing. I don't know if Jason Garrett is still going into the facility this week and hanging around the office. I don't know. I mean, at this point, it's like he's getting broke up with and he's not accepting the breakup. You know, he's like the sad ex-boyfriend.
Wow.
Go ahead. let me go ahead and say this.
Go ahead.
This is the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
Every other freaking organization, this coach has been fired. This coach resigns. I saw this line on the ESPN bottom line the other day, where like if I wish I could pull it back up. I was looking for it, but he wasn't fired. They
relieved. What did they do? They relieved him of his coaching duties or something along the.
Well, his coaching duties are over. His contract. He has finished his contract. He made it all the way through his contract. They just decided that they're not going to continue on with him as the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. That's pretty much how it.
But it was almost to the point where he's like, he's no longer part of the organization.
Yeah, that's what it is.
The Jason Garrett era in Dallas has come to an end. Like how the dude, not only is he fired, his contract is up, so he didn't really get fired. But it was basically saying, no, dude, you don't have a job here anymore. And now it's almost to the point where they got to file a restraining order for this guy. Like, stop begging. Like, go home. Let it go. Why is you still here? And
maybe he's like, I'll run the concession stand.
Right. That's what it sounds like. Come on, Jerry. Please let me stay. Let me be the player personnel executive or something.
I'll even be a parking attendant at this point.
I'll say, hey, just come on, man. I'll be your personal clapper. But come on,
he'd be a great greeter.
I'll clap our way all the way back to the Super Bowl. I don't know, but like, let it go. Like, why is this such a thing? Everybody and their grandmother knew that this is it for Jason Garrett. Let it go. You suck. You are like, how many more 8-8 seasons are you going to have? And you think you're the best choice for the Dallas Cowboys? You know what? I know exactly how this went. Jerry, you gotta understand. We already know that you're the owner, you're the president, you're the CEO, you're the general manager, and with me being here, you're still the head coach as well. I'm just a figurehead. Let it continue to be this way. I mean, I got you. Anything you say, I'll say. I will be your puppet from here on out.
Well, all right, Jason, I got you, Jason. Don't you worry about it. Go Cowboys.
Yeah. That worked for 9.5 years, but this had to happen. And if you ask me, this is many, many years too late. I really think Jason Garrett squandered some of these guys' careers. That when the Cowboys had some talent years, and I'm speaking more specifically probably about Tony Romo than anyone. Tony Romo, DeMarcus Ware was a talented DeMarcus Ware, Jason Witten. These guys all were very talented and just didn't get brought to the next level. As a quarterback, Tony Romo needed better leadership to bring him along than Jason Garrett. And if he stuck around, he was going to do the same thing to Dak. You know, you need development with these guys. And Tony Romo was a self-made guy and never really had very good leadership when it came to that. He had Jason Garrett his whole career. Wade Phillips at the beginning and Jason Garrett. I mean, come on. Who's going to win championships with those guys running the show?
Jason Garrett did managed to get 85 wins and 67 losses during his coaching career with Dallas. That's still good, but
that's mediocre. He was always mediocre. But I never thought he was terrible. I always thought he was very mediocre.
Yeah, but you know this. Hey man, in Dallas, you got to win Super Bowls. You got to win Lombardis. This is the Dallas freaking Cowboys, America's team.
Stop that. Stop it.
What?
No.
Yes. Google it. Forbes' most valuable franchise in the world. That's America's team. It's a brand.
That's not.
You can't have this clown clapping away all the
America's team. I can't stand that. Who named that? Who decided that BS?
It was me. Okay, and we're gonna go with it.
It was me, Austin. It was me all along. All right, so here we go. Speaking of coaches, there's a few guys, they ain't got no job. But luckily, former Carolina Panthers head coach Ron Rivera, he got a job. He got a job with the Washington Redskins. I think it's a step in the right direction for the Redskins because they fired the GM, the Allen kid, whatever his name is. Get that out of here. Just go ahead and get him out of here and just get a whole new regime in there and just gut the whole building and start from scratch. As we know, Ron Rivera has a reputation of building character men. There's not a bad thing that can be said about him. All right, and also the other coaching vacancies, here we go, other than Carolina, we also have Cleveland, who let go Freddie Kitchens after 6 and 10 years his first season. Jason Garrett, 5 minutes ago on the show, and the New York Giants, who let go Pat Shurmur, who went 9 and 23 in New York, and then he went 9 and 23 in Cleveland. So guess what? Because you might need to just stick to being a coordinator or Little League Pop Warner coach, something, because it ain't working out for you in the pros. So here is the short/long list of possible candidates looking for jobs. We have the Kansas City Chiefs offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy, Mike McCarthy, former head coach of the Green Bay Packers, who also won a Super Bowl, Josh McDaniels, the current New England Patriots offensive coordinator, Matt Rule, the head coach from the University of Baylor, Greg Roman, the offensive coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens, and Marvin Lewis. Who the hell gonna hire this guy?
Oh man, that's the Cowboys might hire him as a coordinator. I think they brought him in to cover their butts on the Rooney Rule. To be honest with you,
yeah,
none of us really believe he's going to be the head coach of the Cowboys, do we? I mean, I don't think there's anybody out there that's buying that for a moment, but. In that interview process, I think Jerry Jones is covering his butt with the Rooney Rule, and I think that he's probably considering him as a coordinator. I don't know if you guys remember this, but whenever the Cowboys, when they last time they had to go through this process, Bill Parcells resigned. They hired Jason Garrett to be the coordinator before they hired Wade Phillips to be the head coach. So that was an ass backwards hiring to begin with. So I wouldn't put it past Jerry to do something like that again this time. I hope that's not the case. I hope he gets one of these coaches in here and lets this coach pick his staff and does things the correct way. And I'm hoping that, as a Cowboy fan, I would love to see a Josh McDaniels or a Matt Rule down there in Dallas. The thing with Matt Rule is he actually has a little bit of NFL experience, and he's turned around Temple and Baylor, and he's kind of an up-and-coming coach. I'm not into McCarthy, man. I'm ready to go in a new direction. Somebody that's up and coming. That's kind of my feel.
I understand that. Yeah. Speaking of that whole get the coach before the GM, Cleveland is doing the same thing too. They're gonna get a coach and then they're gonna get a GM.
Yeah,
I guess
I don't think that works really either. I mean, and that's what Washington's doing, really, right? Then they let their GM go, then hired Ron Rivera, and he's supposed to have input on the next GM, if I'm not mistaken. Isn't that kind of what they're doing too?
From the looks of it, yeah.
I think that's the same situation. Yeah, that seems to me a little bit backwards. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of going through the process that way, like from the bottom up. I mean, but I as a Cowboy fan, I wouldn't want Ron Rivera either at this point. I mean, you guys, what do you guys think? I mean, you're Carolina fans. Were you sad to see him go, or did you feel like it's time for the necessary change?
Extremely sad to see him go, but the thing,
really,
yeah, I was sad to see Ron Rivera go. Man, he was the best thing to happen to the damn organization. 2-time Coach of the Year, took us to the Super Bowl. I mean, he coached some great players, as in Cam Newton, Steve Smith, Luke Kuechly, what's my man's name? Christian McCaffrey. So it's and had the defense chomping at the bit, but somehow, some way, it just fell apart.
Exactly.
It just fell apart. But see, I think when you have a loaded team like Dallas, I think Ron Rivera can thrive off that. I don't know how in the hell this whole Washington situation is going to work, because that's an absolute rebuild going over in the nation's capital.
I think in 3 years, Washington's hiring a new coach again.
You think so?
Yes.
Here's what I have to say. And I'm gonna try to be unbiased. I'm gonna try. When it comes to Carolina and when it came to Ron Rivera, like, there was times where I absolutely loved Ron Rivera as a coach, and then there was times where I just because our offensive scheme was god awful at times with Ron Rivera as head coach.
Mike Shula, don't forget him.
Right.
God,
it was dreadful. I'm like, what? Run the ball, pass on third and long, punt. That was the Carolina Panthers for a good minute. And then we had a magical season in 2015, which that year was why people loved Ron Rivera, because it just seemed like when the chips were down, we did not have a number one wide receiver.
Nope.
We did not have we didn't have weapons, but we led the league in offense. Are you kidding me? Our number one wide receiver that year was Ted Ginn.
Oh my God, guys, time out. I'm sorry to interrupt. Breaking news right now. Cowboys hire Mike McCarthy as next head coach.
That just happened?
Right now it's happening.
That just happened? Oh, wow. You heard it first on the Sports Bros podcast. Mike McCarthy is the head man in charge for the Dallas Cowboys.
Wow.
Oh, the words weren't even out of my mouth where I said I didn't want that guy, and there it is.
Wow. That didn't take long, now did it?
It did not take long at all. And in 3 years, the Cowboys will be hiring a new head coach again, too.
Well, you want to hear something? Matt Rule said, to the Cleveland interview. He didn't want nothing to do with it. Nope, I don't want to. He don't want to do nothing with it.
Well, we are coming off the wire with it. I like it. But yeah, so does that confirm that Jason Garrett is no longer with the Cowboys? because we never really because you know how
I guess they're sharing an office until Wednesday.
Hanging out, chilling.
Because it's so much fun because we got the report from Ed Werder on Thursday that the Cowboys and Jason Garrett were parting ways, but then you heard speculation there was a third meeting with the Cowboys, and then you heard Sunday that okay, now we decide that he's no longer gonna be with us, and Monday they've already hired somebody. Jesus, I'm gonna need these analysts and these reporters to get on their job because they. I think Mike McCarthy. I'm glad that he's with the Cowboys. That means he's not going to be with the Panthers. Because I'm gonna say this real quickly. If he couldn't get along with Aaron Rodgers, which could easily be one of the best quarterbacks we've ever seen, he's a bad man, as Stephen A. Smith likes to say. Mm. How in the world do you think he's going to get along and do good for anybody?
Well, I will say this, though. He helped develop Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, they won the Super Bowl. So, I mean, there's some.
But that was a long time ago.
About 10 years ago, was it? Yeah.
It was a long time ago. It was 2010. That was a long time ago.
Yeah. And it's just, I mean, he'll put up some good teams, but just as you said, like, how in the hell do you not get along with your quarterback? And it's just, and I'll be honest with you, like, for Carolina, as far as I'm concerned, I was looking at the short list, either Eric Bieniemy or Mike McCarthy. But after further consideration, I'm glad he your problem now, Scottie D. I'm looking at Eric Bieniemy because he took Kansas City and got them on just this whole nother level of like offensive output in football. I mean, think about it. Kansas City has weapons in the backfield, a quarterback. They got 1,001 wide receivers, and they got a guy named Travis Kelce. And then they got Patrick Mahomes keeping them in the games as well, too. And Carolina has that similar skill set. They may be one or two pieces off, but they have that similar skill set. You have Christian McCaffrey in the backfield, all-world Cam Newton, the quarterback, depending on the situation, whatever. Then we also have Curtis Samuels and DJ Moore. The only thing we need is another tight end and another decent wide receiver. Running and gunning, baby. Woohoo!
that would be interesting. You know, one couple people that you left off your list that are rumored and talked about.
Who?
That I'd actually be interested in. This might sound a little weird. I wouldn't be mad if we had Urban Meyer as our coach at Carolina.
He want to quit on people, though. I mean, he wants to quit on people.
I
want to hear you out. Let me hear you out. Before I defecate on the issue, I want to hear you out.
Like, that is the other side of it. Like, because see, here's one thing that we fall in love with these. We fall in love with these offensive, defensive coordinators that freaking have all this success in a couple of seasons. They're like, that's why Kansas City offense, I can't even say it. His name
Eric Bieniemy.
Bieniemy.
Yeah.
That's why we're talking about it right now, because Kansas City's offense has been just ridiculous the past couple of years. What is there to say that he's going to be a proven head coach?
True.
Because I swear that's what everybody was saying about Freddie Kitchens.
See how that turned out. Right. You're right. They did say it because in a matter of time he went from positions coach, the offensive coordinator, the head coach.
And so that was one of those things like that. That's why I'm a little hesitant. But at the same note, I know you got to start from somewhere. And the thing with Carolina is, I don't know if it was more coaching or the GM. Like, I still, to this day, I don't understand. You have an all-world quarterback in Cam Newton, and you refuse to protect them with the O-line. I just didn't understand that we've made so many missteps with the offensive line, and it's glaring. It's all outdoors because we don't even get to see the best of. Because I think Kyle Allen is very talented, but he was on his butt way too much.
Yeah,
but then again, I also look at it this way: how are we not like the Houston Texans? Because Deshaun Watson is on his tail half the time too. Their offensive line is sketchy at best. I don't know. So it's a little bit of mix of coaching and GM. I don't know. I think there's a lot of pieces that need to be fixed with the Panthers. It's going to be a rough next couple of years, almost to a rebuilding type situation. I don't know. Like this, I think, like I said, I think we got a couple pieces there, but I think unfortunately this might sound rough. I think Luke Kuechly is on the back end of his career.
Probably.
Because I've seen he was out of place this year. Like our defense was and I think that was just that was mainly on him because a lot of those big gash runs that we had was him being out of position. Was that play calling? But that was usually his strong suit. I don't know because I think our secondary is decent. We have some good safeties, good quarterbacks, and we led the league in sacks, but we could not stop the run to save our life.
Couldn't stop a nosebleed, man. Could not stop a nosebleed. So I mean, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But no. Yeah, it's like, so I want a proven coach. I feel like the same way the Cowboys are getting a proven coach because I mean, there's some pieces there, but I think play calling was very questionable on both sides of the ball. But I think, like I said, pieces might still be there. But I won't blame Kuechly because, like, sometimes we leaned on him too much. And then if, like, teams start to pick up on the fact that he's calling a lot of plays out there, maybe our defensive scheme may be changed. I could talk for days about the Panthers, so I'm going to dial it back a little bit.
Yeah, we're gonna dial it back just it's all good. It's all good. Just a little bit. I'm saying we're out of practice, but we're getting back into practice. So hopefully Carolina, Cleveland, Dallas, and the Giants find everything that they need and some. And that's it for the NFL talk this week.
Well, Dallas found it.
Yeah, Dallas found it. But joke's on me.
Oh, man.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Usually, this is where we hear the wonderful and lovely Miss Button introducing our Choices of the Voices segment. But due to some things with some production and the holidays and everything got kind of riff-raff and kerfuffle, people spending time with families, buying gifts, trying not to fight each other, and just living their life. So, this week, we're just going to pose the question, and we'll get everything back on track for next week's episode. So, Scottie D, what is the question for next week's Choices of the Voices?
All right, in light of all the NFL talk that we just had, the question I'm asking for this week is, next year, who is most likely to be back in the NFL playoffs? What combination? Drew Brees and Sean Payton, or Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, or both, or neither? What do you guys think going forward next year? Well, who is more likely to be back in the NFL playoffs? Brees and Payton, or Brady and Belichick? Or do you think both get back? Or you think we'll see neither combination in the NFL playoffs next year? Food for thought for our next episode of the Sports Bros podcast.
Oh, that's going to be a very, 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 very interesting Choices of the Voices next week, and I can see it already. We can see it already. But moving right along, we got a preview of the national championship game, the Tiger Bowl, between the reigning, defending Clemson Tigers, the champions, and the steamrolling, knocking them all down one by one, the mighty, mighty Tigers of Louisiana State University, LSU. This game is going to be going down on the 13th of 2020. We're not too far away. Fellas, I'm excited.
You're excited?
This game. Yes.
How do you think we feel?
Hashtag.
How do you think we feel?
Hashtag. Who is we? T-shirts coming soon.
I swear, we need it. We need it. So let's talk about this real quick. I'm gonna be unbiased for a second. LSU is proven. They have taken on the best. Between Alabama, Georgia, Auburn, Florida. You know what? I'm gonna be an LSU homer for just a second. I'm even throwing Texas because they love to throw in Texas because Texas was ranked earlier this year. And they keep saying, "Oh, how many top 10 teams?" Nope, I can't do it. I can't be an LSU homer. Stop putting Texas up there. Yeah, Texas A&M was ranked when we faced them, and we beat them, and then they were no longer ranked when y'all faced them, and then but y'all beat them 50. You know what, Brian, be live, bring it back, bring it back. Let me apologize to our listeners because I joined this LSU versus Clemson championship game smack talk group on Facebook, and I've been listening to this dribble constantly, incessantly literally for the past week, and it's just same old garbage. I'm like, oh, Clemson hasn't played anybody. Their strength of schedule and da da da. The ACC is terrible. Who have they played? What are their ranked opponents? And da 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 da. Listen and listen carefully. We just beat the number 3 team in the country. It doesn't matter how many times you do it. It's only if you're capable of doing it. All you need right now is one game. Talent versus talent. On the field, we prove that we can hang by beating the number 3 team in the country. And I say the number 3 team now because they can't be the number 2 team now because the top 2 teams are in the national championship. So LSU fans, listen and listen carefully when it comes to my beloved Clemson Tigers. We here now. Check it out.
Can't argue that.
It's in spot the ball. No more talk. There could be all kinds of speculation who's going to do this. Joe Burrow threw for 500 some odd yards, 8 touchdowns against an Oklahoma defense that is non-existent. Just let's see what he does against the number 1 ranked defense in the country. Let's just see.
Yeah. I'm intrigued for that reason. I want to see how he stacks up against them. But we're looking at a game of historic proportions at the quarterback position here. You have a guy that has won the Heisman Trophy and is probably going to be the number 1 pick in the NFL draft. I mean, it's pretty certain that he's going to be going against the guy who most likely next year will win the Heisman Trophy and be the number 1 pick in the NFL draft. I mean, I don't know that that's ever happened before where the consecutive Heismans and number 1s have played each other in a championship game. So that's kind of what I'm looking at, is like this historic perspective on this game. And I don't know if you guys knew this, but both teams are called Tigers.
Yeah, they might be.
Both teams are called Tigers. Both teams play at Death Valley. Did you know that?
Yep, sure
I
did.
did know that.
And it is historical fact for those that are listening that LSU stole Death Valley from Clemson. The 1959 Sugar Bowl.
Took it right off of us.
Us? Oh, Lord.
You knew this was coming. You knew this was coming.
Stole it right off of us.
Like a thief in the night.
How dare they?
It's a historical fact. Clemson was dubbed Death Valley. LSU was dubbed DEAF. Deaf, as in you can't hear Valley. Is louder, is bigger. Yes, we understand that. But Clemson has a true Death Valley. But it doesn't matter at this point. On the field, in Bayou Country, but yeah, it is a de facto home game for LSU. Something that's also going to be intriguing for me is how LSU's defense is. I mean, it's not a shake in the pan. And I'm not discounting their defense, but I'm curious to see with our newfound dual threat quarterback and Trevor Lawrence. I love it. But yeah, and Travis Etienne, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting. I think it's going to be a very close, hard-fought game. I see it within a field goal.
Yep. It's going to be real close. So you're saying what 24 to what?
I think I said 27-24 Clemson.
Yeah, 27-24. Yeah, 27-24. I'm telling you, man, Joe Burrows has got to be the hottest player in the country, man, because the way they because like I tell people time and time again, okay, we got Oklahoma in the college football playoffs. you know this is going to end ugly. I don't care if Jalen Hurts has been there, done that, and got a T-shirt, but traditionally, and I dare anybody to say otherwise because I take pride in being right, and when I'm wrong, I'll own up to it. Don't nobody play no defense in the Big 12. They don't play no defense. Defense is non-existent. It's Wild West, fun and gun, throw the ball up and down the field, 500 yards, 97, 95 score, okay? Patrick Mahomes, where did he go? Texas Tech. Okay. Need I say more? Where did Baker Mayfield go? Oklahoma, but he's a different case, though. What's his name? The boy that got hit upside the head. Mason Rudolph. Where did he play? Oklahoma State. And then you got Will Greer when he was playing in West Virginia. They played no defense in that conference. Do those teams even have any defensive coordinators? I'm just wondering, out of curiosity.
I'm a compile a list, and then I'll be like, trash. Now, these 10 defensive coordinators are trash.
They need to go home.
Yeah, golly, it's terrible.
Oh, Mike McCarthy, seriously.
Ladies and gentlemen, in case you're just not tuning into the Sports Bros podcast, as we were recording, this podcast drops Monday. As we were recording, breaking news came out of Dallas that the new head coach is the one, the only, Mike McCarthy.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt the flow there, guys. I'm just
it's all good.
trying to recover.
It's all good.
I'm just trying to recover.
This is perfect. This is what we do.
This is what we do. on the fly reporting here at the Sports Bros podcast. Yeah. Reported by the money man, Scottie D. Not everybody else, but Scottie D reported it first. All right, so predictions, Be Live, you what was your score?
It was 27-24 Clemson. It's not going to be as much run and gun as people might think it is. Defense is going to step up. It's going to be a hard fought battle. Clemson by 3.
Scottie D, what's your prediction?
Do I have to say?
Yeah, yes, you do. You do have to say.
Yeah, I kind of like LSU. I'm sorry.
And ladies and gentlemen, you have now just witnessed the end of the Who Is We movement.
How 2019 to 2020.
How dare you, sir?
I mean, I think they're going to tie. I think it's going to be a tie.
Get the hell out of here.
But no, tell us about LSU though. Tell me about
that. I'm not. I don't know. I just kind of get the feeling LSU is going to pull it out. I don't have any specific reason why. I don't think Trevor Lawrence is going to run all over everyone again. And if they can shut down ATN and force him to pass, I don't know. That's still picking your poison. I mean, Trevor Lawrence is still, it's not like he's a bad quarterback. He's one of the best in the country. So I don't know. I'm just kind of, I just kind of think it's LSU's year. That's kind of really the only reason.
And I can understand that because they're definitely having one of those best ever type of years. Like all the awards, all the
it's nothing I can positionally break down and say, I think LSU's better than Clemson at this or Clemson's better than that. I just kind of am just getting the feeling that it's LSU's time this year. That's really all I'm basing it on.
I'll help the money man out real quick because I've been well equipped for this. Yes, Joe Burrow, 77.8% completion rating. That is ridiculous. Crazy. As right now, that would be an all-time record. Over 4,000 passing yards. He has 2,000-yard receivers and a 1,000-yard rusher. That's unprecedented. I think that will be the first time in SEC history that a team has had that. Unprecedented. This team has been firing on all cylinders. They have been dominant. And there's a lot to be said about the LSU Cajun Bengal Tiger Cats.
What's the CFL?
So, I mean, there's arguments that can be made about both teams. And LSU is definitely, like I said, with the tougher schedule. Right now, it looks like they're a little bit more proven. But I just honestly, I think with all of that, nothing beats experience. Clemson has been there before. A majority of their players have been there before. Even though we lost our defensive line from last year, majority of our starters last year were freshmen and sophomores. Guess what now they are? They're sophomores and juniors. They've been there before. The bright lights, the big – I mean, I think that above all is, I mean, more than anything. So, but I can see where that argument can be made about LSU, but I'm okay.
All right, I think
who is we?
I think, man, you know, I'm hearing both of you guys' cases, and I'm just over here looking at stuff on the computer. Yeah, I do a little research during the show. You got to learn how to multitask in the industry. Oh man, oh boy, it's gonna be a close one. It's gonna be a tight one because since Clemson beat Ohio State, that we ain't played nobody talk. That's not existing. They played somebody and somebody got beat. And then LSU is just mowing over everybody, man. It's going to be a tight one, man. But be live, the experience factor. I'm gonna say Clemson. I'm gonna have to say, itching.
I know that hurt.
I got a Gamecocks t-shirt on too.
Yeah.
Man, where's my pillows? Shout out to Be Live Mama for these wonderful pillows. Let me hug my pillow tight. I'm sorry for my creaky chair in the background, y'all, but I had to get my, like a baby with his blankie. I need my pillow to calm me down. The world is better, but yeah, I'm at.
I mean, the last 2 years he didn't even get to the playoffs with Aaron Rodgers.
Mike McCarthy, ladies and gentlemen. Anyways, the head of creative, Eddy Kool, is going to pick. I'll pick the Clemson Tigers from an experience standpoint. And that's it for the National Championship preview. Meanwhile, Scottie D is still vexed and peeved about the whole Mike McCarthy hire. Wow.
Oh,
that was quick, though. It was real quick. Really quick.
Oh, my God. Oh, boy. Scottie D, you or something.
Oh, man.
The gift that keeps on giving. All right. We're going to go ahead and round third base. They're giving me the go-home cue. Ladies and gentlemen, Pepper, the first Pepper of 2020. This time, we're not going to sneeze. We're not going to throw a pepper canister around. We're going to throw a ball around. Well, we can't throw a baseball around because it's not spring training yet. Pretty soon, though. We're just going to throw an imaginary football around and try not to hit each other in the head and realizing why we all are doing what we're doing and not playing on Sundays. All right, fellas, I'll go first. My first pepper point goes to Taysom Hill. Yeah, the Swiss Army knife, the go-go gadget, everything for the New Orleans Saints. They didn't win, but he won, and I'll tell you why. He got 50 yards passing, 50 yards rushing, and 25 yards receiving that wound up to be a touchdown, which equated to 125 total yards, which is pretty, historic during the wild card playoffs. It didn't help him win, but hey, man, could Taysom Hill usher in a new era of multi-dimensional, multi-positional players? We'll see. Scottie D, what you got?
I mean, why wouldn't you interview more candidates? I mean, why would you interview him on Saturday and hire him first thing Monday morning? Why would you at least listen to what somebody else has to say? When you could at least talk to other people and say, okay, we'll hire Mike McCarthy next week.
I'm keeping all this.
Be live over to you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, this is classic. So, Kobe Bryant. Let me tell you about Kobe Bean Bryant, the Black Mamba. He admits in his book that you have three referees on the floor, and they have their depending on where the ball is at, they have different positions and where they stand and how they look at each play and everything. Kobe was such a student to the game that he started noticing that there were dead spots that where the human eye can't see everything.
Oh, wow.
And he admitted in his book that he would literally study where those dead spots would be at, and he would try his best to find his place to be there so he could pretty much just get away with the extra stuff that the referees would not see. And that right there is why he is in the GOAT conversation. It always will be Michael Jordan, but just to hear, I mean, because everybody's always looking for that upper hand. And I'm sorry, one thing I've been taught. I don't necessarily believe in it, but if you ain't cheating, you ain't winning. You know what I'm saying? You're always trying to get up hand. That sounds like some New England Patriots stuff, and they sit at home right now. But shoot, there's a reason why they got 6 Super Bowls. I'm just saying. Eddy Kool, the ball.
All right, back to me. We're going to take it to the square circle, the wrestling ring. All right, Dustin Rhodes, a.k.a. The Natural Dustin Rhodes, a.k.a. Gold Dust, a.k.a. Black Rain, a.k.a. Dustin. Oh, okay, you get it. So why am I talking about Dustin Rhodes? I'll tell you why. The son of a plumber, baby, to the American Dream, Dustin Rhodes, has officially, as of the first of the month, he's wrestled in 5 decades. He debuted in September 13th, 1988. And between that time, he's wrestled through WCW, WWE, most notably as Goldust, TNA, Total Nonstop Impact Wrestling, and most recently, the new upstart promotion, All Elite Wrestling. And he's only 50 years old and in the best shape of his life. Think about it. Late 80s, 90s, 2000s to 2010s, and here you are, 2020, about to do it all over again. Longevity people in the world of pro wrestling. Over to you, Scottie D.
Speaking of wrestling, the side headlock, very basic move. I'd like to put Jerry Jones in a side headlock and say, why wouldn't you at least interview Josh McDaniels? Why wouldn't you at least want to talk to Lincoln Riley? Just talk to them. That's all you have to do. Talk to them, and then you make your decision. Be Live, over to you.
This has to be the greatest Pepper segment ever.
Yes! Oh, man. I just want to touch base. I'm talking a little bit of basketball right now, just where a couple things stand. I mean, right now, it's pretty much a runaway with the Lakers 29-7 leading the Western Conference. They're up 4.5 games to Denver and Houston, with the Clippers rounding off in 4th in the Western Conference. Eastern Conference got Milwaukee just steamrolling everybody. They're 5 games ahead of the Celtics, 5.5 games ahead of the Miami Heat, and the Toronto Raptors are 4th, which is quite a shock. Just going from who they lost from last year, Spicy P doing his thing up there in Toronto. So I just wanted to just give a recap, because I mean, I know us at the Sports Show podcast, we've been heavy football. We love us some football. But yeah, we got some other sports out there. So I just wanted to give a little recap of what's going on in the NBA. Eddy Kool, the ball.
Oh, and speaking of basketball, the trend, I don't know if we've opined on it enough, but it ain't easy being number 1 in college basketball. We got Gonzaga at number 1. Let's see how long that lasts. But that's not my pepper point. My third and final pepper point goes back to the ring, but we're just going to Japan this time. This past weekend, legendary Japanese professional wrestler and global superstar professional wrestler Jushin Thunder Liger caps the end of a 30-plus year career this weekend at the Japanese equivalent to WrestleMania, Wrestle Kingdom 14. Jushin Liger has wrestled all over the place. He even had a match with Tyler Breeze at an NXT TakeOver a few years back. Pretty good match. He's one of the greatest junior heavyweights of all time, a.k.a. the cruiserweights, if you're not too familiar with that system. Shout out to guys like Jushin Thunder Liger for paving the way for cruiserweights and wrestlers all together. Think about it. From 1984 to 2020. That's a long time to be wrestling and a lot of memories. So shout out to the one, the only, Jushin Thunder Liger. Scottie D, over to you.
Well, I just did want to acknowledge a sad note that Don Larson recently passed away on the 1st of January, actually. Don Larson, former Yankee pitcher who pitched the first perfect game in history of Major League Baseball, and he just passed away. And also, David Stern just passed away as well, also on New Year's Day. I wasn't always his biggest fan, but David Stern did help take the NBA to a whole other level. He was part of the whole 80s rejuvenation with Magic and Bird and Jordan. And I just wanted to acknowledge those two. And I also wanted to mention, to end on a positive note, at least Mike McCarthy's not Jason Garrett. That's the upside. Be live.
That's the upside.
Over to
you. Scottie D is going through it.
Going through it.
But it's gonna be all right. I'm telling you, we them boys. We them boys, you got this. But I want to end this basically by building on something new. This is episode 41 for us, going into a new year, and I have not had so much fun in my life than with my two bros talking sports. Just the communication that we have and everything like that, and especially with all our listeners out there, become part of our Sports Bros family. It's a definite pleasure having you guys and gals chime in on the things we talk about and report on. And I want to say thank you to our newest people. We had I said we had about good dozen or so people join our family just this past week. With my whole What Happened Wednesday segment and everything with the LSU and Clemson Smack Talk. So like to welcome all of them and just basically, hey, the sky's the limit with the Sports Bros. Let us know how you feel about us. That's my little extra spice right there. I really didn't have much of a sports story, but I just want to say thank you to our newest members and to my two bros. Let's keep it spicy, baby.
Got to.
Ha! Mike McCarthy.
Holla at your boy.
The year of McCarthy, the year of the Mac.
Return of the Mac. Hey,
Oh,
how about Mac Brown dancing in the locker room? How about that? Huh?
Oh, man.
Yeah. He comes back to North Carolina. Everybody's dancing again. Wow. Shout out to Mac Brown. All right. Be live. Where can they catch you? Where can they find you? I'm sorry.
Yes, sir. Well, you can find me in St. Louis.
I tried, but
Yo, check it out. You can find me still doing my thing here in Fayetteville, North Carolina at Mac's Speed Shop, 482 North McPherson Church Road. The best place for pulled pork, barbecue, brisket, all that. 57 beers on tap, over 200 bottles and cans. We specialize in craft breweries here in North Carolina. Man, it's a wonderful place to be. When it comes to the Sports Bros podcast, you can find me. You can find us.
Who is we? We is us.
You can find us on our Facebook like page, Sports Bros Podcast. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter. Our Twitter handle is Sports Bros PCast. Instagram is Sports Bros Podcast. If you have any questions, comments, or anything like that you want to add to the show, you can check us out via email at sportsbrospcast@gmail.com. And you can check out our YouTube channel, Sports Bros Podcast. We're going to work on uploading some more material there. Check me out on Wednesdays on Facebook and Instagram with my segment called What Happened Wednesdays. That's WUHHAPND Wednesdays. And if you want to check out your boy personally, this be your boy, Be Live on Instagram and Twitter is THSBEYABOYBLIV to the E. No I in the middle of this. Be your boy, Be Live. That's how you can find me. Talk to the peoples.
Money Man Scottie D, where can they catch you?
Oh boy, you know, I just think that he hired him very, very quickly, considering that Jason Garrett was still the head coach technically.
He still got stuff in the office.
He's still not even cleaned his office out yet. Can't we? The body's not even cold yet. Can't we show him more respect? Give him a little bit more time here. I'll be at Wild Wing Cafe on Wednesday night, 6:46 p.m. trivia night. Be there. and Buoys on Mondays at 6 o'clock.
Booyah.
Trivia night. Booyah. I'll be there.
All right. And you can catch me, the HOC, the head of creative, trying to live my life one day at a time, trying to not lose my mind and my job at the same damn time. But in the words of the Almighty Be Live, I digress. You can catch me on these social media outlets. Cool Season, all one word, on Instagram, Super Cool 5000, on Snapchat if you do that there. Also, Sports Bros PCast, as well as the Sports Bros Instagram account, Sports Bros PCast. Yep, that's Twitter. Also, the WordPress, I'm finna get that up and running as well, too. Got a lot of things in work as well, too. Tranquilo Thursdays. It ain't gone quite yet. Just made a few adjustments in my schedules, but who knows? I might just drop something sometime soon. But, yeah. This is it. That's where you can catch me at. You can find me. Lewis rolling. Oh, my bad. So, hello, flashback. That's been damn near 20 years ago. Country grammar.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, have mercy.
Yeah, we getting old. Seasoned.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for listening to us, and we just want to thank you. Damn it, just thank you in general. For the new listeners, the returning listeners, the mainstays, the holdovers, the ones that's sure, that's not so sure, we just want to say thank you. If you paid us 5 minutes of attention, thank you. If you shared us, thank you. We just want to say thank you. The penalty box, coming soon. And we got a lot going on. So I'll go ahead and put it out now. If you have any nominees for the penalty box, let us know. The penalty box is a portion of the show where we first started, as to where we find somebody doing something dumb, ignorant, or stupid in sports, and we sit that ass in the penalty box.
And before we head out, this has to be mentioned on. This has to be mentioned on the podcast, on the air. We have an immediate response to Cowboys hiring Mike McCarthy from one of our favorite listeners, Trey Dizzle. I have to read this.
Read it.
He says, yeah, I don't care. He is garbage. Just a beep, dopey, beep, yes man, like all the rest. He couldn't win beep with Aaron Rodgers for almost 10 years. The minute Green Bay fires him and replaces him with a no-name guy, they go to the playoffs as a number 2 seed. I'm done.
And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, do something nice for yourself. And if you can, do something nice for someone else. This is the Sports Bros Podcast.
Mic drop. Yes, sir.
I gotta find the dumb button.
Oh, God. Oh.
It's over with. It's done. Bye.
Oh, help. Help.
I'm like Tommy Rich. Somebody say something about getting fired up.